Okay, we're in for a bit of a treat today. Well, at least I am. Check what I'm riding. The new 2025 Indian Challenger. It's a terrible day to be out for a test ride. We got severe winds. The roads are wet. It's a brand new bike. The tyres are greasy, slippery. But you know what? I'm still enjoying the ride. Now this is the new 112 PowerPlus version of the Indian Challenger, and I must say this is one nice motorcycle. I particularly love this blue. It's just beautiful. Actually, if I had to sum this bike up in one word, beautiful is how I would describe it. It's just so lovely and plush to ride. If you're considering a Goldwing or a BMW K1600 or R1300 RT, I would definitely put the Indian Challenger and new Chieftain 112 PowerPlus on your shopping list, and make sure you test one of these as well. The seat is very plush. I hope I'm not getting too much wind on me here. The seat is really plush, very comfortable, really cups you and sits you in there nicely. The foam is soft but still supportive, which is great. Often you'll get a seat which is soft and you can just feel that after a few hours you're going to be compressing the foam and sitting on the plastic, but this feels like it's still got good support underneath that softness, so that's ticking the boxes for me. Now the engine, I'm typically a 116 guy. That's the air-cooled 116 Thunderstroke engine is where I like to go. But this PowerPlus 112, I was worried it's going to be too smooth and lacking character compared to the 116. And I'm not saying it lacks character, but it has a different character. It's definitely a lot smoother than the 116. You know, when you start the 116 at idle, the handlebars will shake and things like that. And you don't get that sort of sensation from the PowerPlus, but I do feel the pulses and vibrations of the engine as I'm going through the gears and cruising at highway speeds and things like that. It does feel a little vibey out of the box, but then so did my 116 when I first got it. It felt a little bit vibey, but then that smoothed out. Those vibes sort of dissipate over a few thousand kilometres, and by the time you put 5,000 or 6,000 kilometres on the bike, it really sort of settles down. And I'm putting the vibes I'm feeling down to just being a brand new engine. So it still needs to be run in. It does feature the new tech on here, which is the blind spot warning and radar detection, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't have radar cruise control, but it's just about got everything else. This dash layout, I prefer the look of the new Chieftain dash layout, where you've just got a gauge, and this unit's up between them. But having said that, this is quite nice. It's that's not bothering me at all. I think it's quite nice. What does take a little bit of getting used to is the handlebars. They're like my Kawasaki Vulcan Vaquero, where they're tiller style. So your forks are here and then the handlebars come back towards you. And when you're doing full lock turns, you do have to sort of swing those bars around, and you are at a bit of a reach when it's at full lock. And that's something that you get used to in time, like a couple of weeks on the bike and you don't even notice it, don't even think about it. So that's not an issue for me at all. The riding position is very good. It's really comfortable. It puts your hands and your feet and your back and your butt just all in the perfect position for me. I can sit back into the seat a little bit and just have a little bit of weight on my wrists, and the footboards are beautifully placed, and it's just so comfortable. What does take a little bit of getting used to is this brake pedal. You sort of you come onto it and it's sort of tucked in a little bit, but there again, that's like anything, a couple of weeks on the bike and you won't even think about that. The brakes are still getting bed in and things like that. It's a brand new bike, so Mark's asked me just to take it out, put some Ks on it, and scrub the tyres in a little bit, and just get it ready for people to test ride. So if you do want to test ride the Challenger 112 PowerPlus, Indian Motorcycle Ballarat have one on the floor that you can take out for a demo. Now the screen I'm finding is doing a good job. I'm 6'1", and if it wasn't such bad conditions wind-wise, I think I'd be completely fine. In this severe wind, I am feeling a little bit of, I experienced a little bit of wind noise, but you know, it's not a fair test today because it's a shocker of a day. I reckon if it was normal wind conditions, I'd probably be quite all right with this screen. I'm not experiencing any sort of buffeting or anything like that. I'm not experiencing any really negative wind from the screen. I wouldn't be rushing out to get a new screen. If I was buying this bike, I would ride it around as it is, put a few thousand kilometres on it, do a few trips on it, and then assess whether I need to put a larger screen on it or not. It's not screaming at me that I need to put a larger screen on. It's something that I still would need to put a lot more time into the bike to make a definitive decision. So that's saying something in itself there, because if the screen wasn't working at all, that wind, if the screen wasn't working at all, then yeah, I'd know straight away. So in these conditions, I think the screen's doing very well. The bags are a nice size and nicely shaped. It's all central locking on the key fob. You've got really nice suspension on the bike, great brakes, Brembos. The bike really is decked out well. I'm amazed at how nicely this bike rides. The suspension's just so plush, but controlled. You're not. It's actually my ideal setup really, because it's compliant but controlled. And compared to the Chief, wow, the suspension is just so plush compared to the Chief. Now in terms of low speed handling, yeah, it handles beautiful. Typical Indian, handles really nicely. Just going low speed around roundabouts and things like that, it is quite easy, very manageable. I was worried that it might feel a bit top heavy compared to my Chief, but no, I'm not noticing anything like that at all. Picking it up off the stands, quite comfortable and easy. And yeah, it's just a pleasure to ride. It is a different riding experience to my Chief. I do feel like it feels a bit more like a boat compared to my Chief, if you like. But I've got my bike set up like a chopper, so it's a complete different riding experience. The exhaust note. Now, if I bought this bike, I wouldn't change that exhaust. I wouldn't be rushing out to get a new exhaust system. You get plenty of feedback, you get plenty of tone, plenty of sound to the rider, even at highway speeds. The only reason you would want to put an exhaust on is for other people to hear you coming down the street, for other people riding around you. For me, I would just leave that exhaust system on. Again, ride the bike completely as it is, completely stock for 5,000 kilometres, and then decide if I need to upgrade any part of it. Out of the box, Indian have done a fantastic job. This is a great bike, straight out of the box. Handlebars, I wouldn't change the handlebars. I would keep those handlebars. Again, I'd keep those handlebars there for a good 5,000 kilometres. I'd want to test it, and I'd really want to put some miles on it to see how this riding position fares over time. Whether I'm going to get a sore shoulder from my hands being lower or anything like that. But straight out of the box, I was very comfortable on the bike. And I'll show you what I look like sitting on it too, actually. It's a very approachable bike. You know, it looks like a bigger bike, but you know, it comes up off the stand so easily. And this is my riding position. And I sort of like to push myself back, my butt back a little bit, and put a bit of weight on my wrists. And yeah, I could sit on this bike for hours, no problems at all. I'm getting great wind protection. I can see actually there's little cutouts in the fairing, which is directing wind to me. There's also a slot in the screen which allows wind to come through and reduce the negative air pressure behind the screen, and that's working really well. Yeah, it's a very nice bike. I think for me, I'd like the Chieftain fairing, which would sit back up closer to me. I also, styling-wise, love the look of the new Chieftain 112 PowerPlus. I think they've done a fantastic job with that. And after riding this bike, I tell you what, it's a very tempting proposition. Now, in terms of power, you know, I'm not caning the bike. This is just not the day to be doing that, and not the conditions to be doing that. But riding it around, like my Chief and the Thunderstroke engine, is a bike that you really are best, or you get the most out of it just running on the torque, shifting up to about 3,000, 4,000 RPM, and you've got oodles of pull. This feels the same. No, it doesn't feel the same, but it still has plenty of pull down low, and I've just been shifting at about 4,000 RPM, only because the bike's still been running, and I don't need to push it any harder to just briskly get up to highway speeds. So if you want a cruiser or a bagger, or a cruiser or a bagger that has plenty in reserve, this 112 has it, because I know that once you get over 4,000, 5,000 RPM, the thing just kicks. It just pulls like a train. It's not the way I would ride it. I like torque, but this is a bike that I could ride around just on torque, which is very impressive. When you're riding the bike too, when you hop on, it doesn't feel like a big bike. It looks like it might be a big bike, but it doesn't feel big to ride, which is good. When you first throw a leg over, it feels a little bit intimidating, if you're used to a smaller size bike, but this wind, I hope this wind muff's doing an adequate job. When you get going along and, just even riding around town, it just feels luxury. It really does. Which is why I say, if you're looking at a gold wing BMW K1600 R1300 RT, the new one, definitely consider this as well. I'll start it up so you can hear it. These blind spot detectors haven't come into play because I haven't been out on the freeway, but I'll do that on the way back home. No, I won't. I'm going to take the scenic route. The gearbox is nice and slick too. Typical Indian. It's so smooth when it starts up. I hope you can hear that. Here's a look at the display and all the different information that you get and feedback from the screen. Well, I hope that the wind didn't ruin my audio. Like I say, shocker of a day. And but yeah, it was awesome to get out and have a quick test ride. I wasn't planning to have a test ride, but when Mark offered, I thought, I'm going to definitely take it up, because I've been wanting to see what this new 112 PowerPlus Challenger and Chieftain are all about, and super impressed. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully I got some usable audio and vision. If you get an opportunity, definitely take the 112 PowerPlus for a test ride, especially if you're considering a bike in this category. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye for now.